And now we are in. Oh my gosh. Of course I forgot to change it from... Oh right, it's because I still had the, because I was in the middle of playing the other game. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh my gosh. I forgot to, Oh my gosh, I'm playing a game with actual, like, camera controls. Okay, so let's see. Stage list. So we have an unknown gate here, an unknown gate here, and then we have a space rift over here by the space colony. So, this is the PlayStation exclusive slash DLC level that I wanted to do. So, while I am playing this, I might as well talk about the third Sonic movie a little bit. Neat.
Where am I now? Huh? Is that me? Huh? I've taken on another form? I feel as if I've left my own dimension. Suspicious. I should follow. Looks like I've kept my basic form abilities.
So, if you don't know, this level is literally based on the third Sonic movie that just came out. And it is kind of neat how...
Alright, a beautiful city. It looks like how Maria described the Earth.
Because it is kind of neat that they wanted to at least do something in relation to the movie coming out. Well, that was close.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see how far I can head up. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay, so as I was saying, the other day I went to go see the third Sonic film, and and the best way to put it is that the movie has a lot of things to really like about it, but also a lot of things to nitpick about it.
Yep. I need to find my way back, or fight my way out. What are they?
Oh. I saw that a little bit too late.
What a waste of time.
So, literally, okay.
You can't stop me. I must keep moving. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I see what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to jump onto the helicopter while I was there. Hmm. Oh, there it is.
Freeze.
Can't believe I just ran headlong into that. Yeah, so I watched the movie. There was a lot to like,
Too slow.
and I feel that if you're someone that's already like not really too big into the lore of the 3D Sonic games, you're probably not gonna like the movie as much. Just because the movie has this air of yeah, let's do Sonic Adventure 2 right. Like, they can't do...
Not bad.
Yeah, so I think it might be 2 acts, but I'm not sure. I think it might just be 1.
Oh.
Oh!
Chaos. Control. I have no time for this. I have to complete my mission. But I'll be back.
Okay, so I guess it is just 1, So I guess it was just 1 act. That was fun, at least. The poster obtained from from the Tokyo Act has been added to the collection room. Okay, and then there's 2 challenges for it as well. And it looks like that there's 6 things in total. Okay. Okay, so... Neat. Okay, so... The third Sonic film, pretty good. I would say, though, that the type of people that would not really be into that film were the people that were already not into, that were already not into the other Sonic movies. And I could totally see that being a sticking point for some people. Meanwhile, I liked the first movie. I felt that the second movie was just better in every way. And then the third film came out, and it was amazing. But that's just me. I feel like... Okay, let's get a tad more boost. That's a timer. Man, one of the things that I explained why this film is on my top 10 games of the year list and I'm not even fully done with it, literally comes down to like how much I just want to just explore this overworld area and just do stuff in here. It's really fun. And I could understand the idea of, yeah, but it's an overworld area. It's not like that groundbreaking. And I'm like, yeah. Like, you could say that, but there's just something so fun about just moving through a 3D environment as Shadow with all of his powers. It's neat. I like it. But oh, whoops. I can never truly give it my like game of the year for any regard. Mostly because I'm just not done with it, and 2, there were just so many good games that came out this year that it would feel bad to give it to a game that half of it is like a 7 out of 10. Half of the game is a 7 out of 10. The other half is like an amazing fun experience, but you know, it's mired by having to be connected to a very bad Sonic game. I shouldn't say very bad. I should say that it's lacking in exactly the ways that make it annoying. Like, it doesn't... It's not like... Like, I still every once in a while boot up Generations and Heroes to, like, 100% the game. But the thing I'm talking about when it comes to a bad game is just one that you don't want to touch, you know? And I don't think that either of the games that I just mentioned are like that. the design of that made me think that there was something inside. We got 2 more bolts. Again, I just want to like run around and just explore this area, not even doing the levels. Like, this is the thing that I encountered when I was playing Sonic Frontiers, where the actual levels themselves didn't weren't the thing I was interested in. The thing that I was interested in was just running around the overworld, just doing stuff. Okay. So I think I came up here before. I just forgotten what's been up here because it's been a bit. It doesn't look like there's anything up here either. Then we have 2 art up here.
Let's do this.
Ah! Let's see. And then we have this. Cute. Okay. I did like that kind of kick off the wall that Shadow just did right there. It's kind of neat.
This is the ultimate power.
Okay, where does this go? All the way back to the beginning? Okay. Instead of going in and trying to get a bunch of the collectibles, let's it's over there. Oh. Those ones have been really tricky. Like, it feels like that I keep finding them in areas that I've been to like a million times. And then it's like, Now, are they replenishing themselves, or are they,
Amazing.
Yeah, are they replenishing themselves, or am I just missing them? Okay, there's 50 out of 80. I was trying to open the map, like in the previous game I was just playing. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this, really quickly. Mostly because, I feel... Need to do this. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, I see where that text is from. Okay. Okay, let me just, Actually, I need that to be a little bit bigger. Properties. Grab from there. Text on screen. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just put that big and in front, so it's very hard to avoid while I start talking about this next part. Okay, so I went to see the third Sonic film, and as I said, it very fun, but there's a very distinct thing that I need to talk about. And it's this. This is an ability called the Chaos Spear. He uses it very infrequently in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but ever since, he's been using it very sparingly. But it's an ability that fans love for Shadow. So when, during the climax of the film, where he is, teaming up with Sonic to take down the Eggmen. He and Sonic go super, and then Shadow summons like a halo out from him, a cloud of Sonic spears, and just starts annihilating robots with it. And it is one of the coolest pieces of like animation in that game. And in a way, I'm kind of upset he doesn't do it more. It's because for a lot of the movie, he is almost exclusively using the ability that, I don't want to say it's an ability he has, it's a gimmick that he does, where Shadow, yeah, where Shadow does a minor teleport, and that minor teleport is so that he can go behind a person and then kick them in the back of their neck to incapacitate them. You know, very cool. As showcased in such great moments like opening movie for Shadow the Hedgehog. The most well-known time that he has done it. And it's just fascinating because the only time he does it is when he goes super. Which I would have expected him to actually do it slightly more than that, but it's the only time he actually pulls out Chaos Spear as an ability. I feel it's a bit of a missed opportunity, but it's it's okay. Not utilizing one of his more well-known abilities for a really cool moment. Pretty cool. But yeah, another thing that I felt like I wanted to talk about is I do know that there are people that when they heard that Gerald Gerald Robotnik was going to be in this film, people were incredibly confused, and most of them were lore keepers. Just because... Okay, so for context, let's just say Sonic Adventure 2 does in fact take place in the year 2002. That would mean that the events of 50 years ago on the Ark would have taken place in would have been taking place post World War II. Why am I pointing this out? Well, it's because of a lot of scientific experiments that were happening around and then directly after World War II. Especially when it comes to the Japanese connotations of things. So, when you hear evil scientist works with works to create an experiment in post-World War II, it's like, well, it's a good thing it takes place in a universe that isn't Earth, so it's slightly less weird. Okay. But in the third movie, it's revealed that the Guardian Units of Nations started out as a military organization that was helping a lot of these post-World War II scientists to complete some of their medical, a bunch of their tech and medical experiments. So, this is the way that it goes. Gerald is not one of these people, because this actually takes place 50 years ago as of 2024. So, with them saying that it's been a year since Sonic showed up, and if we were to say, let's just say Sonic showed up in 2018. 50 years ago from 2018 would not be in 1952, it would be in 1972. So they actually aged up a few things. Like, Maria is no longer this, like, actually, okay, so it feels like that there was an entire scene cut with Maria, which it established her relationship with Gerald. Because Maria and Ivo are related, are half-siblings. If I remember correctly, the way that it works is that Ivo's father is not the same father as Maria, but they share mothers, I believe. I think that that's how the connection is. So what happens is that in the movie, you have Maria, which they don't say anything about, like, a disease that she might have, because the idea is that Maria has a degenerative, dang it, what is it called? What is it called? It's, an autoimmune disease, which makes it so that she doesn't have a lot of, that she's slowly losing the ability to, like, walk and, like, move around efficiently, and so they go into space. They go into space because the low gravity would help with Maria's condition, so that she could still run around and do stuff in low gravity. And the reason why Shadow is called the ultimate life form is not because he's some, like, mega weapon that can destroy the Earth. He's the ultimate life form because his body heals diseases. Or at least that's what he was created to be. The reason why the Biolizard even exists is because the Biolizard is a axolotl that they basically just pumped full of cancer to figure out, like, what they can heal. And in that context, Shadow being this creature that was called the ultimate life form and turned into a weapon that was actually a tool for great healing. And I feel like them removing that aspect of Maria's backstory does kind of harm Shadow's backstory. Because, they completely change it to being, ow. They completely change it so that, Shadow, instead of being a half Mobian, half, space alien, is just now all alien. Because now they don't know where he comes from. Because Shadow, fully formed, was in the meteor that crashed down. Which, is two things. One, it means that instead of a, Gizoid being in the asteroid that they were testing it on, instead it was Shadow fully formed. Which is interesting. I don't quite know if I dislike that or not at this point, but I will say that it is an interesting choice nonetheless.
Chaos control.
Great. I used that the exact wrong second. So Maria's backstory has changed. There feels like that there was a scene taken out of explaining Maria's connection to Gerald. And the fact that Gerald, being in the movie, basically makes him 110, as he says. And that's weird. Like, I'm not angry that they put him into the movie, because having a scene where two Jim Carreys are doing stupid things with each other is relatively hilarious. I feel like that some jokes went on a little bit longer than they should have, but as a quote-unquote send-off to him as an actor, consider that this is his final role, you know, pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna disparage him for being... for trying to do anything to act. One last time, at least. So, yeah, not really too upset with some of the comedy as well. But I do feel like they certainly could have done a little bit more with Gerald as a whole. But I will say this. The one thing that I am kind of concerned about when it comes to Shadows' backstory is that it really does feel like that they tried to wrap that up as hard as they could, so they never have to come back to it. And that's relatively okay. But the note that they left Maria off on does not feel complete.
Amazing.
One last thing though. So the final note that they leave the movie off on. Oh my gosh. The final note that they leave the whole movie off on is Sonic is doing this little race with his friend, like his friends from earlier into the movie, and he kind of gets lost while doing that, and he gets attacked by a bunch of Metal Sonics, which then leads to him being saved by mysterious pink cloak hedgehog that everyone knows who she is immediately the second they see her. And I was like, okay, she's got the hammer, she's got pink hair, that is in fact Amy Rose. Okay, we're doing this. And the question is where exactly they're going with the plot. And being relatively a lore keeper with Sonic as a series, I will say this: them doing a bunch of Metal Sonics means that they are probably going to lead into the final battle for the fourth film being the Robot Overlord, which is, as I've said, one of my favorite final bosses in all of Sonic games. So not too upset. But this is the important part about the movie. Every planet is I want to say, cataloged. Everyone knows which planets are habitable and safe, and they don't come to Earth too often. Mostly because we're a weird planet we're a weird death planet. Which I can admit is kind of funny. Even if that's not really the reasoning they're going with, but Earth is just a weird death planet that nice. There's one. And you know, I'm fairly sure that the only reason why those Metal Sonics are now here is not because they look like Sonic, but because they look like a blue hedgehog. In which Sonic being a blue hedgehog was very important to Sonic being a blue hedgehog was very important to the reason why he had to be kept alive. What's the best way to say this? I think it's because Sonic in an essence is special. Sonic is special for being a blue hedgehog. Huh. There's a little, like, gate over here. I guess we have to come out through the other way. So, when we eventually get to that in the story, I expect that there's going to be a moment where they explain to Sonic very carefully why he's important. And he's probably not going to like the reasoning. And it's probably going to be more than "you're the chosen one." But okay, so the end of the film that I've been kind of beating around the bush of is that they kill off Dr. Robotnik. And I can feel that that's going to be a problem for some people. But Jim Carrey did say that he was not really in the best shape to be doing movies and be doing action sequences in movies anymore. So I completely understand him going, okay, this is my send-off, I'm out of here, goodbye, everyone. And that's where he kind of just leaves it off on. And again, I'm completely fine with him just leaving off there. And then they could do something like, well, Robotnik's consciousness is now in this robot, which can be played by a different person. And instead of having Dr. Robotnik, instead we have like Egg Emperor or something, in which the Egg Emperor is this whole nother character that's just the brilliance of Dr. Robotnik in a different shell. Which, I could see them doing something like that. I think I was already over here. Yeah. And okay. The biggest problem I have with it is that they're gonna have to figure out a way to do Dr. Eggman bits with the story while not having Dr. Eggman be there, and that's gonna be relatively awkward. But again, they can probably do it if they tell the story right. But at the end of the story, Dr. Robotnik blows himself up in the Eclipse Cannon, and Shadow sacrifices himself to push the Eclipse Cannon far enough away from the planet to not just douse it with a bunch of radiation. Which, okay, that's an interesting way to do the sacrifice yourself to stop the Ark from crashing in the planet thing. You know, without having the Ark as well, which is really fascinating, but not many Sonic games actually utilize the Ark as a whole. So I'm fine with that. The other thing, though, that I did notice is that when it blows up, there's this massive, like, there's this massive cloud that comes out that people on Earth can, like, see it, like, all around in the night sky. And I'm like, wow, that's really pretty and stuff, but, we know that the planet is being watched. We know that the planet is being watched, and we know that we know that the planet is being watched, and we know that and people can find Earth very quickly if they need to. Like what would happen with Knuckles and Tails, and now with Amy. So probably what happened is that the massive explosion more than likely set off a bunch of alarms for a bunch of different people to be like, something's going on Earth, and people need to go there to make sure that everything's okay. Which means we might have an interesting situation come up in the next film about who is there to kind of not police the universe, but let's just say who is there to kind of like figure out what's going on. And I personally can't wait. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the storyline after that. Because I know that it's either going to be very strange and annoy several people, okay, I did do that. Oh yeah, if it has a, if it still has a golden bell onto it, then it means that it's, it means it's still active. Oh, I thought that was the one coming over here. So yeah, I expect that what's going to happen is that Earth is now going to be flooded with a bunch of side characters from the Sonic series to basically be like, my planet wanted me to come over here to figure out what's going on. Which leads to one conclusion, and that is probably that the story's going to start out like Sonic CD and then end up being like Sonic Heroes, where you just have a bunch of new characters being introduced all at once, and it might be a mess, but it's going to be a very enjoyable mess if that's the truth. You know, I feel like that I'm going to just section off just the Sonic Movie 3 spoilers and just upload it as itself. Let me just do this really quickly.